Hey there, beautiful teachers. In this video, I'm going to show you around an app called Classroom Maestro. This is a great way to make things clearer for your students when you're doing online lessons or video lessons. So let's dive in and see what it can do. Along with your download of the actual app, you'll get this handy PDF, and I suggest keeping this open for the first while to get used to the different keyboard shortcuts that you can use in Classroom Maestro, because they really make everything so much handier. So you have these different ways of showing the keyboard and also different options here as well. We're going to start with just these because I think these are the most important to get used to right away. So we've got N for single notes, H for hand positions, S for scales, I for intervals, C for chords, and P for progressions. So this is what Classroom Maestro looks like. And if I play something on my keyboard, you can see what I'm playing on the screen. Now if I change this to N, that's note mode. And you can use this for drilling notes if you want to take away the annotation, just by pressing A. And add it back in with A as well, so you don't have to show those note names as you go through. We also have interval mode, perfect fourth, and again you can take away the annotation so that you're testing your student instead of giving them the answer. Then we have scales, which is a longer version there. And then we have chords, which will show the multiple notes together. So if you just have it on single note mode or on scale mode, it's going to play them in a row like that. Whereas if it's on chord mode, it's going to play them all together. The progression mode, I think, would be one of the most useful for us. So that's under P. And it's still changing them at the moment, but if I hold down the pedal, it will actually change the pedal on the chord progression, which is quite an instinctive way to do it. You can tell this has been designed by an actual piano teacher. Now, if I clear all of that, I just press the back key to do that, the delete key to do that. I can also add chords and go on to the next chord by pressing enter. So if I play my chord there, and I'm not using the pedal this time, if I enter, it'll save whatever I have down when I press enter on the keyboard. All super handy. Some quick and easy design things that you can change. You can change the background color here, like that. I'm using the number keys to do that with command, but you can also do that in the settings. So if you go to options and then display options, you can change all of this stuff manually there. So if you forget a shortcut at any stage, you can go into the settings to do that there as well. That's just the appearance, of course. Doesn't matter hugely, but I quite like the black as the background to keep it nice and simple. You may have noticed as I was going through the chords that you can actually see which pedal I'm pushing down as I do that on the piano as well. Now, when I was showing you the chord progressions before, I said that it was quite intuitive to change the pedal on the chord progressions. But for holding down scales, that's not quite so intuitive, is it? Because we don't want the notes to be overlapping. So if you're doing that, you can change the one that freezes the notes on the screen to, say, the sostenuto or un accordo pedal as it suits you. I think sostenuto makes a lot of sense, so I go with that one. And if I change it to that now and go to scales mode, I slightly hit off that C there, so it picked up my mistake. So if I just hold down the sostenuto, obviously it's not going to sustain those, because that makes a little bit more sense to me intuitively. Now, I'll stay in scales mode for a second because I want to show you the key signature feature. So on your keyboard, as in your computer keyboard, that's just up and down. So I just go down for flats and up for sharps. Simple as that. So if I go to G major, and now the F is going to show with a natural rather than with a sharp. So that's really handy for showing scales, for showing different things anything you need to demonstrate to your student. We're going to switch over to Zoom now so that I can show you how you would actually implement this in your online lessons if you're using Zoom. So this is my Zoom window. I have it set to show my overhead cam here, because it would be quite confusing to look at me speaking, which will be out of sync with the video here. But in Zoom, it's pretty simple to share your Classroom Maestro view. If you just go to share screen, and then it'll open up all of your different windows there, and you'll be able to select Classroom Maestro. Just have to scroll down and find it there and share that, and now that is what your student will see. A quick note about that actually. Sometimes it'll default to showing you the Zoom screen once you share your screen. Not always, but sometimes. And if that happens, you just have to find Classroom Maestro itself and click into it so that it's active again. So if you find that you're playing and nothing is showing up, that's usually what has happened. You just need to literally click on the Classroom Maestro window to get back to it. So now this would be showing via Zoom. What I can't do is show myself or the overhead view of my keyboard or anything like that at the same time. If I want to do that, I'm going to have to use another piece of software. A lot of people like to do this using something called Ecamm, and while that is a great option and one that's worth looking into if you're getting into this in a big way, it's a little bit techy to set up, and I wanted to show you something that's a little bit simpler, still a more advanced option, but could be a great one for you if you are interested in getting into this. So the option I'm going to show you is to use Ecamm. I'm going to stop this Zoom share for a second. So I've actually set up a software called Ecamm to do this. If I go back into Zoom, back out of my screen share, and go to screen share again, you'll see that I have an app open called Ecamm. Ecamm Live. This is an app I happen to have anyway, but it is a little bit easier to use in my opinion than Ecamm, so it might be a good option for you, or you might already have it yourself. If I select this in my screen share option, it's now going to show, the Zoom meeting is going to show what I have open in Ecamm. So this is what it looks like in Ecamm, and this is what will show up in the Zoom meeting. Now I have these two cameras up over here. Let me show you how I set that up. What I need to do to set that up is, first of all, I'm just going to reset these so you can see. I simply hold down Shift and to select two cameras. These are my two cameras in the camera mode here. And then when I go to screen share, that will automatically be the cameras that get added in. Now it'll probably show up this way. I don't want that view because it's a bit confusing and it doesn't fit very well alongside my Classroom Maestro screen. So if I right click on that and go to tall, it will stack them on top of each other, and I can then fit them neatly on the screen, and I can have my Classroom Maestro and my overhead view and me looking to the camera. Now the video might be occasionally slightly out of sync here, although I haven't really found any issues with it. So it might be a good option to give a go if you're looking to get started with this. I also find Ecamm great for recording video lessons, and you can absolutely do this view, if you like, within video lessons, recording right within Ecamm Live, because there definitely won't be any sound issues there. So that's a few different ways you might like to use Classroom Maestro in your studio. I hope you enjoyed this little tour. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that exploration of Classroom Maestro. Let me know what you think of the app, and if you have any questions at all in the comments below.